Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about some cheaper options if you want to get residency by investment. You know, I don't ever see anybody pushing this or talking about it or anything except for me. And that is the residency by investment in two countries that are English speaking, where you can, there's no language test. You just basically put in the residency period. And that's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also St. Kitts and Nevis on the residency by investment, not the citizenship by investment. Now, I've done some other videos on this, but there's people that have not seen this, and I add stuff to things. So if you want to take note, this is a great program to me. It's a lot better program than the Portugal program, and also the these other programs like Panama, because these two countries have residency by investment and you don't have to relinquish your other passports and citizenship, no language test. And St. Kitts is even better than St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because St. Kitts has no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. St. Vincent is going to have a local income tax. So this is some things that you're going to have to think about. The St. Kitts, I always like St. Kitts better because their taxes are just a lot better than St. Vincent would be. And now St. Vincent, you can apply for the passport roughly after about 9 years of residency. St. Kitts is about 14 years. If you're looking for a fast-track program, you're not going to get two things. You're not going to get it cheap and fast, okay? Fast means you're going to have to pay out more money, okay? Now you can go, you have an option though, if you come to St. Kitts and you set up a residency by investment in St. Kitts and then decide later you want to switch it to a citizenship by investment, you can get as quick as 45 days, you can do that. But you have that option. I don't know if any place in the world that's English speaking that has the tax laws that St. Kitts has. There is none, okay? Where you can get the passport as quick as 45 days. So in other words, you can take that residency by investment and switch it to a citizenship by investment and get the passport in 45 days in an English speaking country that doesn't have an income tax. Don't know of a country you can do that with except for St. Kitts. Now that's the flexibility you've got here that you don't have anyplace else. So if you want to come down to St. Kitts first, do the residency by investment. Now how much does it cost to do the residency by investment that leads up to the passport? I've done other videos on this. You would have to, there's several ways you do it. One way is you can either set up a company in St. Kitts. By doing that, what you're able to do is you can set up a company, and you don't have to be here. You can take off and leave, but you're going to have to show the renewal on that worker's permit, because remember, you're not a citizen. You applied for residency only. You're going to have to show proof that you paid for that worker's permit for 14 years before you apply for the passport. Now, how much time period you got to be here, the government doesn't say, but I can tell you, if you plan on just getting the worker's permit and taking off and leaving, you're making a mistake. You need to be here a lot. I would say pretty much all the time. If you're not here all the time, you're playing Russian roulette with your residency by investment. And I would hate to be in St. Kitts for 14 years thinking that you got the requirements in when you don't, because you've taken off and left a ton of times. The citizenship by investment, you don't have to do all that. So if you don't want to have to be tied to a country, I would go with the citizenship by investment. Otherwise, you should be here most of the time when you're doing this. And all you got to do is set up a business, okay? Now, some businesses are protected. If you're not a citizen, you won't be able to do them. It just depends on the business. We'd have to check on that. If you're a citizen, you can do any business that you want, obviously, that you're trained to do. You know, obviously, if you're, doctor or lawyer, you're going to have that degree before you go in, start practicing law. And you're going to have the credits and the requirements to do it here in St. Kitts, okay? So, but once you've done that, you can apply for citizenship after 14 years. There's another option too. One is, again, you can apply for residency, permanent residency right off the bat by getting a property that's at least $300,000 US. Now, this is permanent residency without the right to work. Doesn't mean that you can't work, okay? It means that the government doesn't have to, they can let you work or they might not. But we're talking about where you're setting up your own business is a lot easier to do. If you're trying to take a national's job and you're not a citizen, it's going to be very, very difficult, very difficult. Okay, you're really better off getting the citizenship by investment, because then it's definitely, you can get in there and you're treated just like a regular citizen at that point. So, but now setting up your own business is different, because you're not taking somebody else's job. You're setting up your own business. And now you can apply for residency by buying a house. You get permanent residency right off the bat. What does that let you do? You can come and stay here as long as you want. You can leave, whatever you want to do there. Then after 14 years, you can apply for citizenship at that point. So that's the neat thing about that. Now, doesn't mean you're going to get the passport, but unless you got some sort of bad past or something like that. But I will tell you this: they don't run the expensive background checks that you're going to have on the citizenship by investment that you would on the residency by investment. With the citizenship by investment, you're going to have the really expensive background checks. The residency by investment, you will not have that. Okay, so because you've obviously been in St. Kitts for 14 years, so they're not going to run the same sort of background check on you after you've been here 14 years. So they're totally different. Another way you can do it is marrying a national. Now, I would tell you, if you're going to marry a national to get citizenship, you're stupid. I would never do that. In fact, it's against the law to do that. And there's people that tried doing it and got in trouble on it. And you don't ever want to do that. What you want to do is you want to do it where it's legal. If you're gonna be applying for citizenship and you're doing it by marriage, it needs to be somebody that you've legally married. You want to marry only because the marriage has nothing to do with the passport and citizenship. Okay, but that's another option. You can get the passport pretty quick, and it's very inexpensive if you go that route. It's not going to be instant, though. I can tell you, it's going to take a while still to get that, but it will be a lot quicker than having to go through the 14-year period of regular residency before you can apply. So these are some ways that you can actually come to St. Kitts and be in a country that has no income tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. And I notice, I do a lot on St. Kitts, but the only reason I do, most of the viewers that see our channel, they're interested in two things: getting their income taxes to zero and getting a second passport that gives them insurance for protection, stuff like this. If something comes up, they don't have a criminal background, they don't have any substantial civil background, and there's just almost no country in the world that does that. In fact, St. Kitts is the only one that does it in 45 days with no income tax. You're not going to find it. And plus, it's not just that. It has more visa-free travel than any of the fast-track programs in the Caribbean. That's what you want to look for. This stuff about Portugal and all these other countries, yeah, we do those. In fact, we do over 100 right now. But St. Kitts and Nevis are the only countries, like I said, that do the two things that most people are looking for: getting a passport really fast and get their taxes to zero. St. Kitts is at the very top. Everything else is followed underneath that. Portugal has high taxes. You're not going to get your taxes to zero, even with the NHR, okay? You probably will not get the passport in 7 years. Most people that apply that don't know the Portuguese language, I've seen the statistics, they don't get the passport because they don't learn the language. And most of them don't go there and live there long enough to learn the language. And it's very time consuming. And I found that most wealthy people don't want to take the time out to really learn that language. So consequently, they just wasted a lot of time and money. Man, to me, the smart way is to get citizenship by investment, and where you can get it fast, and go with a country where there's no income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. This is what you want to be looking for. If you come to St. Kitts, this is a great coffee place called Rituals Coffee. It's like the Starbucks of St. Kitts. They've got about 3 of those here in St. Kitts. Real good coffee here. So if you come here, and it's right near the Marriott, so you just walk down the sidewalk, you can get here. The reason I hit so much on this, I've been through the same track that you did. I actually went through all these different stepping stones. You got Panama, great place for residency by investment, awful place to get citizenship. because you're going to have to relinquish all your other passports. You're going to have to learn the Spanish language, and then it's going to take you about 10 to 15 years to actually get the passport. That's the problem with that, okay? So these are some things that are real negatives that you need to observe when you're looking at this. Now, also another problem with other Central American countries, you have the same sort of problem that in Nicaragua. They've waived the language barrier issue. As far as learning the Spanish language, they used to have a requirement to get the passport to learn Spanish. They've waived that, but the problem is you're going to have to relinquish all your other passports to get that. And Nicaragua is a good place for residency. If you're going to go there strictly for the residency and not the passport, I say that's a good choice. But see, a lot of people don't do all their homework. They think they're going to go there and get the passport, and they find out they got to relinquish all their other citizenships. These are things that you have to look at when you're looking at this and trying to decide which country to move to. You have the same problem with Honduras. They have treaty agreements with only certain countries in Central America, and I think Spain is included in that too, which is in Europe, where they'll allow you a second passport only if your passport's with those countries. Other than that, you've got to relinquish all your other citizenships. That's the problem you have with that. Belize is one of the best choices. I like Belize a lot. Okay, for residency by investment. The passport's not all that great. You don't have a visa free to the Schengen countries, which I don't like, but they do allow dual citizenship. There is the language test that you have to take, but count on 7 to 8 years. They say you can apply after 5 years. Count 7 to 8 years before you get the passport. You're not going to get it instant, okay? So these are things that you got to think about. I would stay clear of EU passports. I've told people this before. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. I hate sounding negative with the EU. I'm just trying to give you basic facts. Those countries are going to probably in the next 5 to 10 years at the most, they're going to start taxing based on citizenship. I promise you. It's the easiest ways to raise money. You're going to throw yourself in a tax trap going and getting passports in places like Portugal. You're going to run the same problem if you're a U.S. citizen that you're trying to get out of your citizenship with now if you're a U.S. citizen. And if you're German, I would be, or somebody from Italy, I would be getting a second passport in a place like St. Kitts and Nevis. Gives you really good visa-free travel. And if they, come out with this citizenship based on taxation, you can get out. The only problem is I think they're going to come out with a exit tax, and I think they're going to make it retroactive, where they're not going to let you escape it. In other words, they're going to hit you on that tax as soon as they come out with a law. And that's why I tell people, if you're with an EU country, man, I would be getting out of that. I would get other passports that are better, or just as good, or just under. And St. Kitts, if you look at the visa-free travel it's got, there are a lot of countries that you can travel to within St. Kitts that you can't do with a lot of EU countries. Now, the great thing too about St. Kitts, I don't think you're ever going to see the tax laws change here with the income tax. Not in my lifetime. There's just too much going on with it. Nobody here wants the income tax. You got two different parties here. Both parties are very conservative. They've been thrown this before. Do you want, when they have this huge debt problem, do you want an income tax to solve the huge debt problem they had here years ago? And neither party wanted it. Neither party wanted to have a income tax. They solved their debt problem by coming out with a VAT. So I mean, this was their choice. They dropped the debt limit 60%. The U.S. has never dropped it at all, and they got an income tax, state income tax, federal income tax. They still can't get rid of the debt. They can't even reduce it. And these are some things that you need to look at: is the type of the thoughts and the ideas that country has, because you want a country that's going to be moving towards the future in the way that you like it. If you don't like high taxes, this is what you need to be looking for. EU countries, I've told people before, stay away from them. I see these people promoting them. They just don't. Most of the people that look at our channel are interested in taxes, and that's not good advice. get away from countries that like socialism. Steer away from them, okay? You'll always have countries that will always be looking for your business that are non-socialistic, okay? And we'll keep you in touch with, who those countries are. But these countries that are, like I said, that are in the EU, most of these countries I would stay away from. I don't think Malta is going to keep their territorial tax system as far as, they really don't have a territorial tax system. It's set up where, when I say they don't have a pure territorial tax system, most people don't know this, but Malta has a requirement that even if you don't remit money back in, that they have a minimum 5,000 euro a year requirement that you have to pay in tax, even if you don't remit anything in. In other words, you're not going to get your taxes to zero. Okay? They don't have a system and you can get it totally to zero. They've got a minimum basis that you're going to have to pay, which is 5,000 euro again. And if you remit other funds in that are not capital gains like dividends, then they'll tax you on that. Capital gains, they don't tax on remitted income as of right now, but I think that's going to change. But Malta is not a feasible option. You're looking at 18 years on the residency by investment before you're going to get the passport. If you go with the citizenship by investment, you're looking at over $1 million you're going to have to fund in there. Most of that is a gift out to the government. There's so many better options than that, folks. I just would not go with that. And it's part of the EU, and I would stay away from any country that's part of the EU. That's socialism to the highest. If you want freedom, you need to stay with libertarian type countries like St. Kitts and Nevis, places like, Cayman Islands, Bahamas. But the problem with, the Cayman Islands is it takes you forever to get the passport. It's very expensive to live there. A lot more expensive than St. Kitts. And Bahamas doesn't allow dual citizenship. I would never go there, because you're going to have to relinquish all your other passports. It's very expensive to live there. St. Kitts has got the whole ball of wax, so you can have many passport citizenships as you want. No income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. And these are the things you're looking for. And you can get the passport in 45 days, folks. This is what you're looking for. Quit looking. This is how good it is, okay? And I keep telling people this. They're always looking for something better. It's right here, okay? Quit looking. It's right here. And it's almost in your back door. If you're from Canada, the U.S., you can get in St. Kitts in like 4 hours, 3 hours if you're from Miami or North Carolina or from places on the East Coast like Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, you can get in there direct flights. This is another reason, too, the real estate is going to be booming here. They got direct flights now from Miami. You got Atlanta. You got North Carolina. You got to places like, I'm talking about under normal situations. With COVID, they might have cut back on some of that, but I'm talking about under normal situations. These are direct flights that you got. This is going to make this place boom. When you've got people that are coming here with really high, multi-millionaires, they're not just getting citizenship by investment property, they're getting other types of properties too. This is what's making the area here going to go through the roof, folks. If you look over here to St. Bart's, which is like, that's where all these movie stars go to. It's not even a tax haven, but I can see it on a clear day out my window. They got properties over there that are 10,000 square feet for I've seen them for $4 million US. I mean, it's incredible. This was like 10 years ago, okay? And this is what I'm telling you. We're surrounded by countries where the prices have gone through the roof. St. Kitts is like it's a hidden gem, folks. This is the place where you want to be, where the property prices, you can look back in 10, 15 years from now and kick yourself in the butt for not going in and investing in places like this. This is where it's at. This is where you need to be. This is where wealthy people are looking. They're looking for places that don't have an income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax, that honors property rights. And you don't have, stuff like you got in Canada going on right now where they're freezing assets. It's just incredible for ridiculous reasons, Canada's the last place you want to get residency. If you want to learn more of this, folks, go to our website, again, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions, hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. Folks, you can live on this golf course 365 days a year, beautiful weather, playing golf. Come over here, go snorkeling on the beach, and have all these tax benefits. But remember, folks, if you're from the U.S., again, okay, you've got to declare your taxes until you relinquish your U.S. citizenship. okay? And you also have to include the last part, of the time that you actually relinquish that part of that tax year. You have to include that. And if you're from another high tax country like Canada, Australia, Italy, you're going to have to do, or also, these other countries, a lot of them are in the EU and other places of the world. Most countries tax worldwide income. You're going to have to actually do whatever's required to break away legally from your tax obligations. There might be, you're going to have to pay an exit tax possibly, okay, to get out of that whole mess. But then you're free from taxes from then on out. You can choose and how you want your tax money to be, or your money to be spent, where you can avoid taxes. You can't do that when you're in a high tax country that taxes worldwide income. So these are some things that you need to think about and you have to plan ahead of time on. Go to our website if you want to know more on this, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions. Hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. We deal with over 100 citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries all over the world. We'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And number 3 is, folks, hit that subscribe button at the right of your screen. You get new videos automatically and that notification bell right next to it. This is where you pick up all these new videos. We've got over 600 videos. This is where you pick up all of these good tips. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.